All right, college football is back. At the time of recording this, we have one game left. That is Clemson Duke before week one is in the books. And today I'm going to bring you 5 players that are rising up my Devy rankings after week one. They all had incredible performances. Whether you're a fan of Devy football, you're a fan of Dynasty football, you need to know these players. Or if you just like college football in general, I'm going to talk about the 5 most impressive performances specifically from the offensive side of the ball. And I'll tell you how they are changing in my Dynasty rankings. All right. So before the college football week one started, PFF tweeted out and they said, who do you think is going to be the Heisman? Kind of like make your call. And I had been thinking about it for quite some time and heard the reports out of Colorado that Travis Hunter was going to be playing both ways. And we know that he was the #1 recruit in his class, 5-star athlete, coming out of high school. And I just thought to myself, like, if he truly is going to play both ways, I think this kid could actually be a legit Heisman candidate. It's looking good so far after week one. Travis Hunter is absolutely rising in my Devy football rankings. He's a potential future dynasty star. #1 high school recruiting class. He is eligible to play in the NFL in 2025. I moved him from my wide receiver 20. I was already quite high on him. Like, I felt like he wasn't being valued properly in Devy drafts this offseason. I moved him from my wide receiver 20 all the way up to my wide receiver 14. I mean, what can I really say? This was probably the most impressive college football performance I have ever seen in my life. And I've been watching college football for quite some time. Now, I might be overreacting. Maybe there's a performance that I didn't personally see that is more impressive. But this was extremely, extremely impressive. In week one, shout out to Sam Monson from PFF with some information that he brought here on his Twitter or his X, whatever. But Travis Hunter in week one, 145 total snaps. 145 total snaps. At wide receiver, he had 13 targets, caught 11 of them, 119 yards, and 7 first downs. Now, he did have one drop in the end zone. He was diving for the ball. But both of the drops, they weren't like mental mistakes. They were just very difficult balls to catch, like, honestly. And then on the defensive side of the ball, he was targeted 9 times. He allowed 3 catches. He had 1 interception, which was a ridiculous interception, and 3 breakups, essentially. Now, Sam goes on to say no NFL wide receiver or cornerback played more than 101 snaps all of last year. And Travis Hunter played 145 snaps. And not only did he play 145 snaps, he played it well. Like, he looked extremely impressive both sides of the ball. That type of stamina is unheard of. It truly is unheard of. In my mind, there's absolutely no question that Travis Hunter is going to be a first-round pick in the 2025 NFL draft. It's a foregone conclusion at this point. We saw the talent at Jackson State. Now we're seeing it at the next level. So you might be asking yourself, well, if you feel that way, why can't you put him higher than wide receiver 14? The issue is, guys, he's an incredible player to watch. Still, I'm going to ride him as my Heisman candidate this year, Heisman pick. But we don't know if he's going to play wide receiver in the NFL. He's a damn good cornerback. So if you're valuing him super high, and you go trade, important assets for him, what happens if he declares as a cornerback into the NFL? I mean, I would be shocked if he went out in the NFL and played both ways. I can't remember the last time that actually happened. So how do you value him in a Devy league? Look, I have him in most of my Devy leagues because I felt like he was undervalued. I told you earlier he was my wide receiver 20, now my wide receiver 14. He jumped in my rankings. That was the best time to get him. I don't think you can go out and acquire him right now. Unless someone's trying to sell him on the cheap, unless you can get like him for like a 2nd-round pick or something, or, in your Devy drafts, or, the likes of a wide receiver like a Josh Downs or something. Like, I'd be willing to do that. But yeah, what an impressive performance. I mean, let me know if you guys watched, because I was speechless, truly. It is so rare that we see something like that nowadays. The second most impressive performance, and another player who's rising up my Devy rankings. Can't talk about Travis Hunter if we also don't talk about Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback out of Colorado. He is eligible, I believe, for the 2024 class. I don't know how that works. I'll have to double check with him being at Jackson State, but I believe he's eligible this year for 2024. He's a former 4-star recruit, the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders. You guys probably know that. He was my quarterback 26 heading into the offseason. I'll be honest, he just wasn't really on my radar. I'm not even going to sit here, like Travis Hunter absolutely was, but Shedeur Sanders, like I just didn't put enough time and effort into really researching him. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like I did. He goes from quarterback 26 to quarterback 16. I cannot ignore the performance that he just put up. And we have to keep in mind that it's okay for Devy rankings to be fluid. We're all learning new things about these prospects every day. It's okay every week. It's okay for your rankings to change. But I have him right in the Carson Beck, who looked really good, and Riley Leonard kind of range in my Devy rankings at this point. But if you look back at Jackson State last year, his numbers looked really impressive. He completed 70% of his passes. He had 40 touchdowns through the air and just 6 interceptions. Really good numbers. But here at Colorado, people, not myself, because I didn't really have a horse in the race per se, but there was a lot of national media who said that this team couldn't do it. They were one of the worst rosters in all of college football. That Shedeur Sanders wasn't legit. Deion Sanders wasn't legit. What they were building was completely, false. It was a fugazi, right? And Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders came out and absolutely put a beat down. Well, not a beat down, but they showed up big time versus TCU. And some people might not know this, but Shedeur Sanders, first game in the Pac-12, goes on the road to TCU. I mean, this is a legit program. They were in the national championship last year. Goes on the road to number 17 ranked TCU. Everyone says that they're going to lose the game. They are 20-point underdogs and puts up these numbers: 38 of 47 passing attempts completed, 510 pass yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and over a 90 QBR. He put on an absolute clinic, and all the haters were shut up. Their mouths were closed. They had nothing to say, and Deion had receipts. Here's what's important to note with this performance for Sanders is, did he have Caleb Williams highlights where he was rolling out of the pocket, throwing on the run? A lot of it was designed offense, and he just executed the offense really well. And that's good to see. He ran the offense really well within the confines of what they were trying to do, right? So there's no reason to hate on his game. What we do like about Sanders, what I like about Sanders, firstly, is the size, 6'2", 215. That's great for the next level. The leadership, you can't find this kind of leadership every day. He's got that alpha mentality. Something that I noticed for sure is how poised he was in the pocket. I mean, if you can remain that calm in the pocket for the rest of this year, that's going to put some really good film for scouts to watch for your profile. Dual threat player. He didn't rush much in this game, but if he needs to, he can. And he's consistently getting better. And you just love to see that from a quarterback prospect. So yeah, Shedeur Sanders, man, don't discount him. Don't discount him because he's Deion Sanders' son. He's legit a baller for sure. Do not discount him anymore. I'm sitting here editing this video and I had the thought, man, it would be so cool to do Devy mock drafts weekly after college football weeks and see how things have changed with a community. So I'm just going to do it. Question, do you want to do a Devy mock draft with me? When this video releases, I am going to release this tweet over on my Twitter, on my X, okay? And the first 12 people to reply to this tweet saying I'm in, then you're going to be a part of my very first live stream ever on this channel. We'll do a Devy mock draft together. We'll talk about all the players in Devy. We'll go 50, 60 deep, however much you guys want to. So if you want to be in the first ever Devy mock draft that I'm doing, reply to that tweet, say I'm in, the first 12 are in. I mean, why not? Let's do it, right? So let me know. Check the pinned comment for more details. Okay, the third player that I'm excited to talk about, we're talking about a true freshman. This player won't be eligible until the 2026 NFL draft, but he had a great first ever debut college football game. That is Mark Fletcher Jr., the running back out of Miami, 4-star recruit out of high school. And he came out ready to play as a freshman. He goes from my RB 40 to my RB 21 in my rankings. I think he's going to have a huge year in that Miami offense. He put up 76 yards on 8.4 yards per attempt. Super efficient, looked great, had a couple breakoff runs, and also a rushing touchdown. He looked the part of a potential future workhorse NFL running back. And there's a couple traits that I really love that I believe will translate to the next level. Firstly, the size. He has NFL size. 6'2", 225 pounds. Has above average speed, especially for how big he is at 225. I mean, my guy is moving at 225. Good vision. The lateral ability is showing up on film. He's not slow, vertically, horizontally, if you will. Uses his big frame as well. When he needs to be physical, he can be physical. And it's obviously way too far to give you a NFL comp at this point. However, we all like NFL comps. And there's a couple players that came to mind when I watched him. These are just ceiling comps, okay? This is not a floor comp. He's a freshman, right? But it's exciting to see, an exciting freshman play really well. Seen a little bit Leonard Fournette vibes, little AJ Dillon, Javonte Williams, maybe a little bit of Jamal Williams, that big bruiser back in the NFL that you can hand the ball off to 15, 20 times a game. Those are ceiling comps. Again, don't get upset with me, but yeah, I'm very excited about him. And the fact that he's going to get into the rotation early, we want to see an early breakout for the players that we are investing in Devy football. Ultimately, we know that that's important for us in Dynasty as well. Okay, the fourth player I wanted to talk to you guys about today. We all know Roma Dunze, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you most likely know his teammate. I just don't think that his teammate is getting enough love, and I want to do that today. Jalen McMillan had a very good performance here in week 1 of the 2023 college football season. He's eligible in 2024 for the NFL draft, former 4-star recruit. He went from my wide receiver 16 to my wide receiver 14. So I still had some respect on his name, but I just felt like he deserved to move up a couple spots. And he put up some impressive numbers last year as a redshirt sophomore. Last year, 79 receptions, over 1,000 yards, almost 1,100, and 9 receiving touchdowns. In his first game this year that just happened, 8 receptions, 95 yards, and 3 total touchdowns. One of those touchdowns came while he was out of the Wildcat, and he ran it in for like a 20-yard touchdown. We all in the Devy community, I feel, are high on Roma Dunze. I mean, he's a really fun player to watch, but I am slowly falling more and more in love with Jalen McMillan's game. I love both of these wide receivers, and I have to be honest, maybe I'm ahead of the curve or maybe I'm overreacting, but the more I dive into his game, I'm afraid to say this, I'm getting heavy Chris Olave vibes. I really am. I'm getting heavy Chris Olave vibes, guys. I mean, a couple reasons. The deep threat speed is absolutely there. Chris Olave had that. The route running ability, you can see it. It shows up both last year and this year. He's good versus man, good versus zone. Similar size to Olave. Olave is 6 foot, 187. Jalen McMillan, latest measurements, 6'1", 192. He produced, similar to Olave, he produced big numbers while being a part of a very good collegiate wide receiver room, right? Olave put up impressive numbers with JSN and Garrett Wilson. We have Jalen McMillan, who's putting up big numbers with Roma Dunze on the other side. And like Olave, he's going to be a later declare coming into the NFL, right? He's a redshirt junior, so he'll be a little bit older than some of these younger guys coming in. And he's a redshirt junior because of those COVID years. I don't know if you guys remember, like those COVID years were really weird for college football. But there's a very good chance that Jalen starts getting some first round buzz if he keeps humming along in this offense like he did in week 1. I mean, could this be the first year Remember last year, a year ago, right? In the 2022 draft, Olave, Garrett Wilson, both went in the first round. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. Could this be the first year ever 2 Washington wide receivers go in the first round? That would be very impressive. And I would say the consensus is Rome Odunze over McMillan as a draft prospect. But I'm just saying, like, I remember talking about Olave on our Dynasty channel in podcasts and saying, like, this guy's a lock for the first round. And people are like, maybe he's a little bit older coming out, you know? Why didn't he declare early? We could be looking at something similar here with Jalen McMillan. Either way, I think Jalen has been going way too low in Devy drafts this offseason. You know, there's a couple of people that I've noticed around the community who do put proper respect on him. But I mean, a lot of people have him ranked like outside their top 20, 24. And sometimes that's just because they overvalue youth potentially. When I'm talking like incoming freshmen and stuff like that. But Jalen McMillan is a very impressive prospect. I see Olave vibes, and if you can acquire him, go do it, because there's a chance that he could get some serious first round NFL buzz. At this point, I don't see a way he's not at least a second round pick in the NFL draft. I think he could be higher. I mean, there's not really a knock on his profile outside of those people who are super strict on like early declares. I guess that's a technicality. Okay, and the last player I wanted to tell you guys about today. I hope you're enjoying the new channel. I'm honestly just making content that I want to make. So let me know if you're enjoying it. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't done it yet. And just let you guys know, I will be bringing out my Devy rankings soon. Let me know if you're interested. I want that to be a resource for people. Shout out to my friend Kyle. We've been working on a Devy database together for all you guys out there. But also shout out to Kyle, because there was one player that Kyle was talking up a lot before the college football season, and I got to give him his props. Like it looks very good right now. Keon Coleman is the next player we're going to talk about. 2024 eligible player, 3-star recruit out of high school, transferred from Michigan State to Florida State before this season began. Kyle was telling me in the chat, in our messages, how much he loved Keon Coleman, that he was going to be a really dominant player. And I was like, I mean, I'm with you. I think he's good. But I need to see it a little bit more. He went from my wide receiver 20 before this latest game to my wide receiver 15 at this very moment. And like I said, I'm very comfortable with rankings being fluid in Devy. I'm honestly very comfortable, because if you're not learning something new in Devy almost every week, like, what are you doing? You know, we're all learning new things. But wow, Keon looked good at Michigan State last year. He really did. But man, he was on another level versus LSU in that week 1 game. I'm telling you, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch Keon Coleman's performance versus LSU. Last year at Michigan State, on the year, 58 receptions, almost 800 yards and 7 touchdowns in the Big Ten. Good performance, looked great, but I mean, I see a different player. In his first game versus LSU here, 9 receptions, 122 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. Johnny Wilson, his teammate, the dude's like 6'7". I mean, is he a wide receiver? Is he a tight end? Who knows? He put up good numbers too, but he didn't maximize all of his opportunities. Johnny Wilson had a lot of dropped opportunities, dropped balls, whereas Keon did maximize those opportunities. This was truly a dominant performance for Keon to start his Florida State career. Anytime there was a one-on-one opportunity down the field, Keon was going to come down with that ball. In fact, I checked over on PFF Premium Stats. He didn't drop a single contested catch in his first game. Showed very reliable hands, impressive body control, great ball tracking skills, and he has a big NFL body, 6'4", 215. They don't make them like that all that much anymore in the NFL. It's a lot of 6 foot, 5'11", 6'1", 190 type guys, and those are really good for the modern day NFL. But man, that frame could be nice at the next level. I mean, I truly did not give him the respect that he deserved heading into the year. But if we keep seeing performances like this throughout the season with his quarterback, Travis, what's his name? Jordan Travis. This could genuinely be a legit name to watch at the next level. Like, George Pickens is different because, I mean, I was in love with George Pickens, scouting him for dynasty purposes. But I say George Pickens to relate to the draft capital we could see for Keon, right? He could be one of these steals in the second round of the NFL draft. I mean, heck, if he keeps playing the way he is, there's no reason he can't be a first round pick. But I'm just saying, not every game you're going to get 3 touchdowns. But yeah, Keon could legit get like that kind of Sky Moore, George Pickens type draft capital and be a player like Jonathan Mingo, Jaden Reed that we're excited about in Dynasty, that there's potential for on a team with opportunity. So yeah, guys, those are 5 players. I could go on and on. I'm sure there are a lot of performances out there. I know Jaden Ott at California had a really good game. I mean, let me look at my Devy rankings here because I know there's a lot of names. Devin Neal out of Kansas, he put up a pretty good game. I really wanted to talk about Dante Moore. You guys remember the video I released last week? I said Dante Moore, what I was super excited about. But that they had named, oh, that was on the Dynastyland channel. Sorry, I put that on the Dynastyland channel. But anyway, I was talking about Dante Moore and I was excited for him to start this year. And then they said they were going to start 3 quarterbacks. But I predicted on that video that Dante Moore would take the job pretty quickly. He did. Drew Aller was already my quarterback 3 in Devy. I can't move him up any higher than that. I'm not going to put him higher than Drake May or Caleb Williams. So he played really well, exactly what we thought. We haven't seen Cade yet at the time of recording this. Connor Wigman looked really good with Texas A&M. Dante Moore looked great. Yeah, is there anyone? You guys know my boy KJ Jefferson. I got to show him some love. Until everyone else is showing him love, I'll be the one putting my reputation on his name. JJ McCarthy had a good game. But of course, guys, you know, you have to keep in mind as well, we got to figure out what's going on with those Ohio State quarterbacks. It's a mess right now. But you have to keep in mind that like week 1, typically these programs are scheduling easy wins, easy dubs, you know? So you can't put too much stock into a lot of these games, and stay flexible. But anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching the video, and see you guys soon. All love.